Hey, and just in case you missed it, big news for the Colorado Buffaloes.
Yeah,
they got top quarterback in the nation, pretty much, Julian Lewis, who decommitted from USC, has committed to the Colorado Buffaloes. Here's what he had to actually say about playing for Deion next year.
Yeah, no, I mean, of course, I'm excited to learn under Coach Shermer and Coach Prime. I was talking about it the other day. I don't think there's a better person to learn how to read defenses and coverages than Coach Prime, Deion Sanders. So, I mean, just trying to grow mentally is my big thing.
Yeah, he was on the Pat McAfee show, just made that commitment right there. Of course, he's one of the most talented quarterbacks out there in the nation. So for Colorado to get him, that says a lot. Because over the last couple of days, speculation back and forth if Prime was going to leave. First of all, there is no way in hell Julian Lewis is committing to the Colorado Buffaloes unless he is pretty much assured that Prime is going to be there. Because you're not going to decommit from run program because of USC obviously having the issues that they're having and not knowing what's going on with Lincoln Riley and all that type of stuff like that. The unshortness there. I just made up a word. I don't know what that means.
Unshortness?
Unshortness or whatever. You're not sure. And then commit to a Colorado program if you don't know the coach that you're committing to is going to be there. He didn't have to make this decision today. So there had to have been some kind of assurance from Prime. I don't know what it was that he's going to stick. Now, this changed my mind, and I can admit when I'm wrong because I just said an hour ago when I first came on the air that I am pretty much sure that Prime is leaving Colorado after this year.
Yeah, you were like, bam, he's out.
I was like,
you said it with your chest.
But here's the reason why I said that. Now, Prime has a new show out on a streaming network. I'm not going to mention because we're on a streaming network too. But he called I Got Time Today with Roxy Diaz, and here he had Ice Cube on the show with him. And he was talking to Ice Cube about his future with Deion Sanders actually leaving the team, going to the NFL. Here's what he had to say.
Your son did the doggone thing.
Yes.
Like no
like
other.
your son doing the dog. Your
Two
two sons are doing the doggone
So tell
thing.
me this.
Yeah.
What would you do? You in my situation.
Help him get to the next level
Okay,
any way I can.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
But should it go past that or?
What do you mean past that?
Let him go to the NFL, continue to coach his son.
Hey, come on now. Why not? Especially if it's in a Raider uniform. Come on, baby. Oh, man, don't get me to acting a fool. You know what I mean? That would be a dream come true as a fan of the Raiders.
Now, obviously, that was something that was taped days ago.
Sure.
But if you're the head coach of a prominent program and there's speculation about your future, you're not joking about that. You're not even – I know it's entertainment. I know it's part of the show and you want to get buzz for the show. And obviously, that's the first episode of the show. You got buzz. You even know that Prime has a talk show now. So that's buzz. But when you know that there are recruits out there like Julian Lewis before he committed that are thinking about your program and you got other coaches – you know how college coaches are. Oh, he ain't going to be there. Why, you think about going to Colorado? He's not going to go. He's just going to the NFL. He's going to follow his son. He only cares about his son. He only cares about Travis, nobody else and all that. You know, doing everything they can to throw, cold water on Colorado in the program in prime time and everything like that. You're not even playing like that. So at that time when I heard that yesterday, I'm like, I was kind of vacillating going back. But when I heard them, like, he gone. He gone. He's not staying in Colorado if he's even playing like that. But then the news comes today. So I'm confused as hell now. Like, I don't know what. I got to believe, I have got to believe that he's staying in Colorado and coaching these kids because Julian Lewis would not commit to that program. You guys feel the same way? Are you on board with that?
I was on board with Deion entertaining the NFL if the right situation came around. It seems like the Raiders, are in a really good spot because they're going to have a high draft pick to take a quarterback, which they desperately need.
Mm-hmm.
But that would also be one-dunning Antonio Pierce, which, Mark Davis, I don't think really thinks he's still paying Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, and I don't think he wants to pay
and
that
I don't
kind
think
of
he
money.
wants to pay,
Yep.
3 or 4 years, whatever's left on Antonio's deal, to pay him not to coach there.
Right. And then you got to pay Prime.
That's bad
Prime's
business.
Gonna want
Then
some
you got to
money.
pay Deion
Yep.
top level money.
And then you got to draft his son, pretty much. You pretty much want to draft his son.
So I don't know. I guess when you really talk it out, and now this. I mean, look, Julian Lewis is a number 2 ranked player in ESPN's top 300. He's not going there to play for someone else.
Pat Shurmur being elevated. I mean, because the Colorado program, regardless, like Travis Hunter, obviously, Shedeur Sanders are the star athletes. They're the Heisman contenders right now. But that program is prime. That program, the reason we're talking about, the reason we had so much hype around Colorado last year that people got sick about because of prime and his personality, what he brings to the table, his marketability. And you can tell, like, since he's been there, Colorado's exposures, like you guys file
Foxes there every other week, it seems like.
Big Noon Kickoff is, we're doing their game this weekend. We're doing the Kansas game this weekend. They're in Kansas City to do the Colorado-Kansas game. They were there last weekend, I believe, too. No, they were last weekend, too. No, are we in Indiana?
I think you're at Ohio State.
We're at Ohio State. But we're covering we have the Kansas City, we have the Kansas Colorado game this week on Fox. But yeah, we're at Ohio State in Indiana. But yeah, absolutely. So, but we did Colorado a couple of weeks ago, if not last week. We do it all the time. But the reason why people even talking about Colorado, even in the mix now, in the Big 12, if it wasn't for prime time, even Colorado having the story and the season that they're having, if there's another coach that turned Colorado around from a 1-win team 2 years ago to a team that is, what are they, 8-2 now?
Yep.
It's getting some exposure, but it's not getting the exposure that it's getting that it would have gotten. It's getting like, okay, it's a great story in the Big 12. We're talking about how the Big 12 might be down a little bit, and okay, this is great. So, but it's not getting the hype. Obviously, also having 2 Heisman candidates on your team also gets you a lot of hype too, with Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders and all that type of stuff like that. But Indiana's a great story in college football, and Indiana doesn't get as much hype or love as Colorado does.
No.
And they don't talk about their star players. We know about Curtis Rourke. I know because, I cover college football, but it's not getting the hype. Primetime is Colorado football. Mm-hmm. And so, once again, you're not getting a quarterback like Julian Lewis to commit to Colorado unless he knows that prime is going to be there. Because Julian Lewis obviously has, dreams, I assume, to go to the NFL. If Julian Lewis is there at Colorado, obviously the eyeballs will be on them. There will be, especially coming off this season, say Colorado goes to the college football playoffs. They lose Shedeur. They lose Travis. You keep prime. More hype is coming next year.
Yep.
Even without Travis, even without Shedeur, prime is still there. The sideline's still packed full of celebrities.
Yeah, Warren Sapp is on the coaching staff.
Warren Sapp is on the coaching staff. You got Ed Reed coming in helping out. You got T.O. coming in helping out. You got the sidelines full of rappers. And it's almost like remember when Prime played for the Falcons back in the day? And the sidelines used to be full of entertainers. Yeah. MC Hammer and all those before the NFL started saying you can't be on the sidelines during the game or whatever. This is what Colorado football is now. With all the athletes, Kevin Durant, everybody coming out there. I'm pretty sure LeBron will be out there. Stephen, everybody comes out to watch a Colorado football game on those small sidelines. Prime is Colorado football, and you're not getting a guy like Julian Lewis unless he knows Prime is going to be there. As good as Pat Shurmur is as the offense coordinator, even if they elevated him to become the head coach, you ain't getting him. He ain't committing this early. He definitely ain't committing that early. It's not. But once again, Julian Lewis knows that if Prime is there, TV camera's going to be there. His game is going to get exposure. Even when the team won 4 games last year, Colorado still got some exposure.
Yep.
Even if you hate them, going to get some exposure. Even if they're not doing well, exposure, because it's almost like Floyd Mayweather in a sense. He's so good at what he does, but there are a lot of people out there that love to hate him and want to see him fail.
Yeah, they're tuning in. It's like the Howard Stern thing kind of back in the day. They're tuning in because they love him. They're tuning in because they hate him.
Because they want to want
to see what he's going to say and what he's going to do next.
Yep. There's a contingent of people that want to see Colorado succeed, that want to see them do well. There's a culture issue as well. There's a culture difference too. Because if you look at, like, Colorado's become what
Miami kind of was.
Miami back in the day.
Minus the championships.
Miami back in the day, love to hate them. Georgetown basketball back in the 80s.
True.
It's a culture thing where there's a large contingency of black people that watch Colorado football that don't even like football, don't even like college football.
But they like Deion.
But they like Deion. They like Prime. They like the swag that comes along with it. They like the flashiness. They like all that type of stuff. And then there's another side of people of all races and ages that just don't like Prime. They don't like him because he is cocky, because he is what they call arrogant or whatever. I don't think he's cocky, arrogant. I think he's confident. I think he backs it up.
Well, we also know him.
Oh, yeah, we know.
And we know what's for show and what's the real person. And so we can kind of differentiate that.
And we know what he brings to the table when it comes to the kids. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, he doesn't get enough credit for that, when it comes to the kids, how much he actually cares about the kids. People just saw what happened when he first came in, and the talk of like, I'm bringing my own luggage and it's Louis.
Yeah, the luggage.
A lot of time, he didn't say, hey, y'all can go to the transfer portal, but if you don't fit in, if you're not here to win, like it was a one-win team 2 years ago. People forget about that. Colorado was the worst team in FBS 2 years ago. It was bad. It wasn't even close, man. They were getting blown out in games. For him to even turn around the team and win 4 games last year, to go 3-1 in the beginning and then 4-1. I know they lost 7 of the last 8 games, whatever, and people are like, oh, this team's terrible. I'm not going to win. I knew. I'm like, he's building something, a culture. He even said it last year. He's like, hey, get me now. Get me now because we're coming. We're coming. The people I'm bringing in, and even in the transfer portal this year, because it brought people in last year. They didn't work out. Hey, man, you're not working out. Hey, that's what you got to do as a CEO. So if things ain't working out, if people aren't aligned with what you want, when it happens to be your goals and things like that, if they're not aligned with that, you going to keep them around?
Right.
Why would you keep them around?
You wouldn't.
You got to bring in your people. You got to bring in the people that's going to help you get to your goals and align with what you want or whatever. And that's what Prime did this past season. And look at the defense, man. Look how the defense was giving up 34 points a game last year, giving up 22 points a game this year.
Or even more importantly, look at the O-line that was just getting Shador beat up. And then they went out, got the number 1 lineman, and they now look at that line. And I said this myself last year, Mike, it's as bad as it's going to get last year.
Yeah.
Because from now on, these kids are going to see the shiny object, right? Everyone's talking about it. I want to go there. I want a piece of that.
Yeah.
I want to be a part of that. It's only going to keep getting better. I hope he stays.
I hope he stays,
He can build a powerhouse in just a few years, man.
He's already done that. If they go to the college football playoffs, man, look, the Hoosiers are a great story this year. Yep. If the Hoosiers get past Ohio State, obviously Indiana will be the story of college football. I'll give it to them. But if Colorado, a year after going 4-8, 2 years after winning 1 game, goes to the college football playoffs this year with all the hype that's around them and everything, bruh. Yeah, he's building something. He's already done it. They're here.
The college football playoff, it's a television show.
It is.
Ain't no bigger draw on TV than Coach Prime.
Ain't no bigger draw on television in football period, than Coach Prime. See where he goes. Hope he stays in Colorado.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.